Yeah. Dogs barking.
Oh, he's getting fed. The second the food comes out, he starts screaming like a motherfucker.
Everything you're about to hear is satirical in nature.
We went walking this morning, and it was I got up, and normally we don't go walking if it's raining, but I just got up in a stupor. I made my coffee. I put all their shit on. I walk outside, and I'm looking. I'm like, oh, it's fucking raining, but they're already ready, and I was like, okay, well, I guess we're doing this.
Yep. Dogs are like, what? Who cares?
Yeah,
we gotta get
they
this
didn't
done.
give a shit. It was it's really on me, if you know. So I said, I'm not gonna pull a 180 on you guys. That's really fucked up. You know, you already think you're going. So we're just gonna do it. But yeah, God, holy shit, guys. I mean, this week is I literally have been just crashing out every fucking day. Just literally, I feel like I read something and then I see red. You know, it's just I don't know. It's like my mental state is hanging by a fucking thread. Even if it's just my just the research I'm doing and all the things. It's like, how does this happen? How the fuck did we get here? How did we get here? And one of the things I want to rant about today is just how their job report just came out.
Oh boy.
It's talking to my fiance. Hello everybody. Good morning. And
good morning.
I was talking to my fiance and I was trying to figure out, I'm I know they're fucking lying. How do I, there's no way this is real. There's no way they added 119,000 jobs to the economy.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to disprove it.
Marlon would be a guy to ask.
They must be on some good shit. I'm just going to point that out as somebody who's dope sick right now. They must be on some good shit if they think that they're adding jobs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she said, Shane, don't try and disprove it. Try and prove it. And I said, and I did, and I can't.
Yeah. Nope. Yep. The answer. Yeah.
I was you're so fucking smart. I love you. That you know, it's always she always has the answer. And she'll say something. I'm like, oh,
yes.
I think I'm smart. Maybe. And she's
that's how we got into this mess, because we're conditioned to believe a lot of things, and there's a lot of things that are completely rational viewpoints to have, which we have been groomed and conditioned not even to look in that space. I was watching last weekend. I watched The Village with my kids, that M. Night Shyamalan movie about patriarchal systems, where there are these evil things, and by the way, never go into the sacred shed. So the kids never go into the sacred shed, which is where the costumes for the evil things are. But it's when you are raised within that, I mean, it's you're watching the movie, you're like, well, that's just stupid. We live like that, you know? There's these sacred things that we never even can think to question. Yeah, and that's what our task is. We have to dismantle all that bullshit and just build up a society that actually works, and which doesn't protect the fucking pedophiles anymore. We have to stop that.
I don't even it's I struggle dude, it's I mean,
fucking pissed off.
And my thing is I know so many people cover that they're rapists and pedophiles. I'm it's covered. Let me look at other things. Ellie Leonard has enough coverage on that I feel entirely safe. Not looking at that in the sense from an investigative perspective. And I've shifted my focus strictly to white collar corruption.
You're right. It's important to cover that other stuff too, and because they see a distraction too. They're all the people are focused on this. Let's find some other ways to fuck them over and put those into motion.
They're thriving, dude. They're fucking thriving. It's not even they're kind of pulling it off. I mean, they have succeeded in every single fucking endeavor, every single one. Because we've been screaming about the Epstein files, which is important. Yes, I know. But we need to be able to be fuck. Fuck, they just bought the Pentagon. Well, oh my God. They have AI planes that can drop bombs on us and they don't need pilots. Oh, how did this happen? oh, what? It was all public domain? You could solve this? You could see all of this coming months in advance, and yet nobody fucking reported on it? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, this is why I'm like, they're all like, oh, I mean, like, again, Khashoggi's murder, so fucking important. Jamal Khashoggi should never be forgotten for what MBS did to him. But guys, how about you ask about the fucking billions of dollars worth of mineral deals that the United States government is funneling into Saudi interests? But no, God forbid they talk about the fact that there is theft and entirely illegal. These kinds of deals, there is laws in place to ensure that we don't just give money to foreign governments, say you're subject to review. But no, God, the Epstein files, but we have to stay focused. Yes, I agree. How about we stay focused on all of the fucking corruption, because there is enough of us to cover all that shit.
Yeah.
But
so
it's what clicks, dude. It's what gets clicks.
It is and it isn't. Because one of the things that, like, okay, so obviously I have been kind of being on a little bit of a news diet, simply because if I see too much about the Epstein files, especially, like, just so like the entire audience knows, I'm currently in the process of quitting Kratom. I decided to go cold turkey last night after talking to one of my readers. Shout out to Billy Manis. You honestly really fucking inspired me last night. But like, Kratom is an opioid and everything like that, and I've been using it for my PTSD. So I've been on an information diet about the Epstein files, but I love what the Epstein files are doing to Trump. You can see how it's making him, like, in any sort of actual, like, altercation. If you read Sun Tzu's Art of War, they say that the one who gets angry first loses. Yeah. It's getting him angry. It's getting him to lose control. And that is what makes the Epstein files so good for the left to talk about. And that's part of the reason why I'm okay with everybody getting distracted by the Epstein files, because at the end of the day, it's doing the one thing that all of the other corruption exposures, all the other grift would never be able to do.
Yeah. I think one element of this, though, too, and like you're saying, is, we got to push him into narcissistic collapse. That's what we're looking at. But we also have to be mindful that he's just a puppet. He was not put in his position. Yeah, he wasn't put in that position by merit. He was held up there by these other predators. A lot of them are in the Epstein files, but at the same time, they think, okay, he's our distraction. We're going to continue. So I think the Epstein files are key. That is a big thing, and we have to push and push and push. But at the same time, we can't be at the expense of the other stuff too.
They are the silver bullet. Like, they are, because like you said, Walter, they are also in the Epstein files. But the thing is, like, they don't need, once they get to a certain point, Trump becomes irrelevant. He is a means to an end. And that's the thing that I have to emphasize, is he is a means to an end. He is not the solution. Like, getting rid of Trump, if they succeed in getting crypto to be the primary means of international money transfer, if they undermine the Fed and destroy our system of currency, Trump going to jail doesn't fucking matter. It's not that it, or dying doesn't matter. It's like, that's the shit that sucks. It sucks. It sucks because we're fighting against Trump, but that's also the point, but we have to. But it's like, there's a way, but also, like, to your point, Ossiana, like, the Epstein files, and to your point, Walter, they get Trump angry, they derail him, he becomes irrational, harder to control. But at this point, I don't think they need to control him.
He's been irrelevant since he won, I think. He won the election. That's the end. I don't know. What do you think, Ossiana?
So it's interesting because I've obviously not been in the Epstein files as a victim or as a perpetrator, but obviously, like, I have experience with this stuff. And it's very interesting because I see so many weird parallels between what I've seen in the fashion industry because Epstein worked in the fashion industry. I actually was in the city where Epstein worked in the fashion industry.
Wow.
I knew people who they had these ultra high-end contracts with like Ford Modeling, Wilhelmina, and every single person in those high-end contracts, we're talking modeling contracts this thick.
Yeah.
They would always tell me in very hushed whispers that the people who were the top models, not necessarily in their agencies, but in other agencies, they would hear this from a lot of people, that they would have to do things illicitly in order to get those contracts. And from what I've heard, it was not actually the women who had it the worst. It was the men. Like, there were some really, really like sick puppies doing stuff to boys and well, not boys, but like, 16, 17, 18, 19.
Minors.
Well, yeah, minors and young adults.
Yeah.
Like the ones that I've heard of, they were 18 and 19. And it's interesting because it's always the same people in power. It's always the most messed up, weird, X-rated adult stuff that they're doing. And then this is coming from somebody who's known as a pervert, like I'm a perv. I'm not sure if you've noticed my loyal fans, but I'm a perv. So like if I'm sitting there, I'm like, that's not right. It has to be very bad, like very bad.
Oh, yeah.
So like the fact that that's actually like a thing, and the fact that that was so outside of the fashion industry. There's a reason why you don't ever see like mainstream high fashion female models dating mainstream male models. Did you ever notice that?
Yeah.
I'll be
That's
honest.
why.
I'm tabloid blind. It's same thing with like social media, like Instagram or whatever. Like I'll talk to people and they're like, dude, have you seen this meme? I'm like, I don't think I've seen a meme in like years. Like I just like my brain felt like I was being manipulated, and I have this weird, it's not really that weird, I guess, but like I'm like so paranoid about being manipulated that I like shut out like the entire metaverse and the entire TikTok verse. And like even when I had a TikTok where I was like I like to paint models, little army dudes, little space marines. So
where are they? Show us one. Do you have one there?
With Warhammer, little Warhammer guys.
Oh my
God. Are they next to your desk?
Yeah. I was that guy, and I'm still that guy. You
gotta relax.
And I'm really fucking good at it. But it's very therapeutic. But even then, I'm managing this whole TikTok. I got it to like 10,000 followers, but I never swiped outside of the little painting thing. Like I couldn't do it because it's like, when you're woke, you're getting fucking propagandized everywhere you look. So it's like, and I have this thing where like, I'm just avoidant. Like if I don't feel comfortable about it, I just avoid it. Like it's the plague.
Smart.
And so that's my whole thing. But I'm like, it's like, so when you like, if you're in on this stuff, Ossiana, but I'm like, so everything you tell me is fucking news to me. And so it's interesting to me because I don't have that insight. And I think in a certain way, it's probably detrimental to my overall ability to look at things. But that's why I try really hard to, stay more in the money verse, in the business verse, where I can look at just ledgers and spreadsheets and, merger announcements and stuff, because that I can do without the context of, these other things. And I think it's harder to do necessarily kind of the Epstein and the trafficking and that without having the insight into the other industries. So it's valuable that, there is people who can do that.
So let me tell you a little bit about what I noticed about the fashion industry and the Epstein files and what's going on with Trump. When people start speaking out about sex trafficking and stuff like that, or they start fingering one person and they're like, this person is in there. Do you know what ends up happening with that person? They flip and they start singing like a damn canary.
Okay.
This is actually what happened with my case.
Yeah.
The one of the people who I used to actually think he was a friend until I found out really what horrible things he did to people I very, very deeply cared about. They, from what I heard in the grapevine, they had arrested him. He sang like a canary. He gave names, addresses, the entire thing. And that's so common because they just want the heat off them.
Yeah.
And the more that you just keep pressing and you keep going, no, this happened, that's when you're going to start seeing those flips. That's why they're so worried about the Epstein files. Because Trump will sing like a canary. Epstein sang like a canary. It's going to happen. And all these people are now getting, it's literally like falling like dominoes. And that kind of social scandal, it does not go away.
Yeah, it's definitely sensationalist.
I think, too, we have to just kind of reassess our assumptions about where the bad people are. And I mean, you look at this in the context of like the completely corrupt mainstream media, which is just happy to attack, the transgender community, and they're happy to attack immigrants who are not responsible for any of this. So first of all, like, we've been so programmed, even if we're like, well, that's absurd. We spend all our energy thinking like it's unfair for the media to attack these people. And we don't have any energy left over to turn around and be like, wait, like this high profile guy that I've spent my life with and I've walked by every day. He's the guy who's got like a dungeon and a private island where he's raping kids. And it's like, we walk around these guys all the time. They're all over the place. They interact with us, and it's just, what this Epstein thing has done, I think, is exposed the corruption of the world. Ossiana's point, it doesn't make sense. The two beautiful young models who presumably have money would like become attracted to each other. Yeah. They always have some sort of handler. And we're watching all those situations where it's the tortoise on a post analogy, where it's like, that tortoise didn't climb up that post. How did that get up there? And it's like all the money, and we watch, and it comes into us, like how we are deliberately, our perspective is pushed out of the mainstream media. I'll write a viral article and the publication doesn't want to publish the next article from me. Why is that? They just don't want to hear from that other viewpoint, and just all these things. And it's like, but I think, Shane, you're coming at it from the financial angle, but if you come at it from like the sex abuse angle, it's just two approaches to the same problem.
Yes.
And it's just, so it's really critical to do that. And there's a lot of work left to do.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I think too, that's becoming abundantly clear to me is there's two entities that if they are collapsed, it all falls apart. BlackRock and JP Morgan. If you take down JP Morgan, they're fucked. And all of the JP Morgan leadership is in the Epstein files. We know because Ellie has been reading those emails. If you fucking take down JP Morgan, they are the heart of the financial nexus, and the other half of that is BlackRock. If you take down individual entities within the nexus, it will collapse. Why the fuck did Jamie Dimon go and meet with Trump? Like literally the second they were talking about releasing the files, and right? Fucking weird, right? Except no, it's not weird, because the money leads. All of this goes through JP Morgan. JP Morgan was core in the 2008 collapse.
Yeah.
Weird. No, it's not weird. They've been setting this up for decades, and JP Morgan is this is literally like it's very it can be done, but like people need to, if we can take it and say, hey, both angles, right? Both angles lead to the same place.
Yeah.
Maybe, and maybe I need to, and I've been thinking maybe I need to talk to Ellie Leonard, and we can kind of put both of those things together. And since she has such a big, following in the
she's like a human spreadsheet. She's got all the names all figured out, and I don't know where she gets because she's such a sweet person, and just reading those horrible emails, it wears me out.
I have yet to meet her.
I'm
sorry, my cat's trying to make a social commentary as well. Hi, I'm Pegert.
The Overlord has come. That means we're onto something. Mm-hmm. Another cat. I don't have one. I have a dog. He's taking a nap.
Hi.
You know what, though, too? Like, because you brought out the bailouts, and one of the things I keep saying, the Democrats have to say, let's end socialism for the rich, and it's like, that was the bailouts that went, that was during the Obama administration that they sent all those bailouts to the banking industry, which is about to collapse. And it's just like, there's not, that's like, we're giving you all these billions of dollars in taxpayer money, and then that just kind of goes away. We're supposed to forget about it. Like the constant direction of where that money ends up. I don't know. It bothered me that the Republicans didn't get pissed off about the bailouts. Let the banks fail. Let them fail. Fuck them. I mean, if they deserve to fail, make them fail.
What about those PPP loans that nobody ever paid back? Oh, cool. Like 300,000. Oh, but no one's getting arrested over that.
And isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? Because there's such it's weird too how, and I watched the other day, Marjorie Taylor Greene came on Bill Maher, and it was like the redemption tour, and he was like softball question, and like the image rehabilitation of the media when they just determine that they're gonna like pivot from one evil group to like make another person their new spokesperson. And it's just sort of like these questions that it's like, how is it you can indoctrinate the right wing to be so anti-socialism, but it's impossible to get them riled up about the idea of PPP loans, like you said. It just doesn't enter. And so I'm just like, how is this conditioning even functioning? Maybe you guys got some insight there, because I sure don't.
Well, I can tell you a little bit about the mental differences I've noticed between right wing and left wing. And oh my God, I realize I'm going to get some death threats right now. But hey, listen, man, I grew up surrounded by right wing people. I am obviously extremely left wing, and I'm also dealing with my fucking kratom withdrawal. So I ran out of crap to give, so to speak. So the interesting thing is a lot of the attraction I've noticed between right wing and left wing. Right wing people have a tendency of having very black and white thinking. They're very structured people, and they're very aggressive people. And I mean aggressive, not necessarily in a bad way, because believe it or not, I've had people in my circles who were conservative, but I actually enjoy them, like as human beings, like, prior to them being okay with what's going on right now. But if you want to see the difference between a right wing and a left wing person, look at how they deal with something like a career. A left wing person will often go, okay, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Let's try to see how I can add some nuance to this. Let me see how I can do this so that I give back to the community, but I also learn something. They're the ones who tend to go for a lot more scholastic heavy careers. That's why most colleges are notoriously left-wing. They encourage thought, they encourage critical thinking, they encourage nuance. With conservatives, they're going to be the ones who are like, oh, you need to do something? Well, now it's time for you to put your gloves on, put your work boots on, build something yourself, because ain't no one going to do it for you. And the funny thing is that in very interesting ways, both sides have very, very good, very adaptive qualities to them. Because a lot of times, speaking as a leftist, we tend to whine and bitch and moan, but we don't do anything with that whining and bitching and moaning. Conservatives, when they get fed up with something, you'll know, because their foot is going to be up your ass. Like, that's one of the biggest differences in them. And here's the problem. The reason that they can't see the PPP loans as a form of socialism is because it's nuance, it's not black and white thinking. They see socialism, they immediately have an idea of what that looks like. It looks like every single person who they dislike, who doesn't have anything to do with them, who whines, bitches, and moans, getting free money while they're sitting there toiling, they don't see that they actually would benefit even more than the people who just sit there and whine.
Did you see that they killed the whole SBA?
What?
They killed it. Yeah, they killed it a couple weeks ago. It's going to be gone, I think, in like a couple months. So they fired everybody. And
what is this? The SBA?
So all of the because I believe all of that comes from like there's like local they have the local like banks basically that you will loan to small businesses, high risk loans. I remember that maybe it's different, but I feel like it comes out of the same. It's those banks. I was writing about it the other day. They're basically publicly funded. They get like what's the hell is it called?
Small Business Act. Is that what that is? Small Business Act?
The SBA, or is it CT? God, they're basically low in for marginalized or low income communities.
Yeah, it's not the SBA loans, it's the other one. Because I actually was just searching it up because like my friend is trying to get an SBA loan and I'm just like, oh, don't make me have to comfort her while I'm like this. I'm gonna throw up on her and I feel bad.
Yeah, it's funded basically in full by Congress. But the idea is that you can get a loan if you're, in a minority or have, maybe have bankruptcy or something already. They're like community banks and they're funded by they're subsidized and whatnot by the government, but they fired everybody at this at these institutions. I'm gonna go find it because it's like actually like bothering the fuck out of me. And I was talking to my neurologist and he's like, I know all these things, but my anti-seizure medication causes like short-term memory loss. So like I have to write it all down and it's like I'll remember the general concept.
Yeah, I'm that way.
Remember the specifics. So let me find it because it's gonna drive me insane.
But it's just the constant like anything you can do to hurt like working class people under the guise of freedom has to do this, and it's like people are waking up to it a little bit, but it's like all they do is blame too, like the Republicans. Oh, it's the other side. You guys have control of every lever of power at this point. Nothing's getting any better. Things are getting worse. Quit being like just blaming everybody. Take some accountability for a change, you assholes.
That's the thing. Accountability is not exactly something that right-wing brains do very well if it's them. They see their side as rational and with reason, while we have to remain accountable. That's part of the black and white thinking.
But that comes from that patriarchal mindset. I mean, they've got this perversion of like religion where they want to put themselves in the place of God and be worshipped as such. And that seems to be like every conservative thinks he's like the representative of God on the planet, and must be obeyed. They can never be wrong. Anything they say is law. And it's just like, it just crumbles down. And that's why you get these guys that are 50 years old who have, the ones that aren't sociopaths, they go broke, but the sociopaths then accrue billions and billions of dollars. And then they use that money to torture people. So yeah, I don't know. It's like diagnosing the cancer that's killing the human race right now is complicated, but I guess that's our job.
Yeah.
But here's an interesting thing that I kind of read on one of the Reddit things, which I lurk on, but obviously I don't go on Reddit because I've been permabanned from posting.
That's an honor.
Thank you. I like to think that. So I was kind of sitting there and I was reading about these billionaire bunkers, and they had some people who were busy working on them, and the billionaires were like, so how do we, keep these bunkers up when humanity is gone, aside from, like us? And the people were like, it doesn't work like that. You'd still need people who know how to repair this, and you'd still need people who can help you figure out how to grow food just in case the crops fail.
They have no skill.
And they're like, can we just do that? Yeah. And they're like, can we just do that with AI? And they're like, no, that's not possible. And then they're like, so maybe if we install shock collars on these people? I was like,
what the fuck?
I think they're starting to realize that we all need each other.
Yeah, they're believing their own press at this point. But just like trying to diagnose the brains of these gated community billionaire assholes and like how because they don't know how to change the oil in their car. They don't know where food comes from. They can't fix the air conditioning. There's not one skill they have. We've noticed that with the president. He's never actually done anything. I keep saying,
whose boat is this?
Yeah.
It is a big boat.
Giraffe. It's like we need to have, instead of presidential debates, just make them take like an ACT test. I would love to see that. Just make them sit there and answer like basic multiple choice questions.
Right.
Which one's a moron? And we know who it's going to be.
They're so stupid. I say this all the time. Like when me and we were talking about was this Tescriel and how these people think they're going to like create a fucking AI god that will solve all of their problems after they destroy the planet.
God.
And like it'll fix it. Like they're their solution to everything, and the problem with our fucking country is it enables them because you can throw money at shit in America and it gets them so far. But there is a ceiling. Like you were talking about, Ossiana, about how the fact that, oh, you built your bunker in New Zealand, but without people to supply you with food, you're going to starve to death? Holy shit. Oh my God. What, you're telling me AI can't farm? You're telling me that if the entire global, environment shifts, there's nowhere that is going to be arable to grow crops and there'll be a massive food shortage? You're telling me that my bunker will be underwater? What? Fuck.
We've all worked for these people too, right? You've had these jobs where somebody stomps in, it's like, well, why isn't this done? But they don't have it. It's like, well, why don't you show us how to do it? They don't fucking know. Like these guys who stomp it, and then it's like, wait for him to leave. All right, let's do the work because we're the ones here stuck doing the work. And it's just like, at some point, it'd be nice if the American people would wake up to that fact, having a little respect. Like I would say, like with regards to football, if the long snapper doesn't do the shot to the field goal kicker, right, you lose the game, right? So that guy should be paid as much as the quarterback, because it's like everybody's important on that team, and people just can't comprehend this.
Snappers? What do fish have to do with football?
The long snapper, he snaps the ball to the field goal kicker. Yeah.
Snapper. Sit. Hook.
Yep, that guy.
I'm so confused.
It's like they actually do that in the one league. There was like the upstart spring league where they were just paying everybody the same and the quarterbacks were bitching about it. And I was just like, we don't have money because we're a new league. Everybody gets paid the same. That's what we're going to do. And it's just sort of like, it's kind of a good model. And I never understand with NFL why the other players don't say, look, no one player can make 10% of the team's total cap. But like, people are so indoctrinated because there's only 32, there's only 10 quarterbacks that make 50 million a year. Why shouldn't all the other players vote against them getting that much? And they won't do it. And I think that's the fun element of what's wrong with the American mind, because we don't even actively work to suppress the creation of these billionaire freaking sociopaths. That's what we need to start doing.
Yeah. So I actually worked with somebody who was part of the Wolf of Wall Street book series. His name was Jeremy Fromer. And it was so life-changing working underneath him at Yirak /created/vocal.media. And I'll say this much, it was the most toxic place I've ever worked in, but it was also the workplace that taught me the most. And it also, in a weird way, it changed my brain chemistry. And I'm not just saying that because I was on like a million different substances at the time. I was. I honestly think that I learned more listening to him scream at me for God knows how many hours than I would have learned in 15, 20 years of school.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I noticed about all of his friends and himself was that his big skill was seeing acceleration of money and figuring out when to short. That is his one skill. He boiled everything down to math. And that was something that really stuck with me. He said, and I remember, Ossiana, do you really think that this is not going to work? And he says, you know what this is? This is math. Do you know math? I was like, yeah. And then he was like, do you know how these things accelerate? Yeah. And then after a while, like, it just kind of stuck with me. That's what they do. They do math. That's all they do. All they do is look for patterns. But the problem is that they forget that there's a human side to this.
It's funny you say that because, like, I think about this all the time. I'm like, I could make so much fucking money by investing in these companies that I'm finding because I know that they're pulling their own fucking plots. So, like, I could make a ton of money. I don't fucking want to because that's blood money because they're killing people to do it. So I don't. I like literally know that, like, because like I saved money, I've had X since I was 18. Okay. And and now it's like, total $10,000 that I've saved forever. And I used to do like a while ago, I did stocks and stuff like that. But now I'm saving it, until I don't fucking know. It's just going to be like under in a can in the backyard for the economic apocalypse, or turn it into gold or something, because the economy is going to implode. But like it's like, I know, I look at this, I'm like, okay, like I could invest in here. Like I know what their thing is. I know they're about to put fucking $40 billion in this company and the stock price will go up, but it's wrong. It's fucking wrong.
It's wrong.
It's wrong to do it. And I will not do it because it's wrong. And because that is the fundamental thing. It's like, it's your point. It's not only is it math, but it's so fucking corrupt. That's why congressmen get rich.
It's not human. That's the problem.
It's predetermined. It's already decided. And this is how they get rich, because they already know what's going to happen, because they fucking talked about it, because it's math. Because if you follow the math, the math is also the equation of corruption, because you see where they're moving their money. So he was smart. He's like, I'm good at math. And whether he knew beyond the math and he was just fucking claiming that it's math, but he knows what's really happening.
Math and bailouts.
Because, if you look at what they're actually doing, because if you also follow the people, because the one thing you will notice in all of this is they move executives around. So you follow the circles of people, they will start a new company with an executive from a former company. And then that they're moving people between entities, but they're the same people. The same people who started OpenAI are now the same people who are starting the alternative for that, Thiel just started for AI, Anthropic. Okay, so they are the same people that came from OpenAI, and they're all Thiel fellows. All of them. The Thiel fellowship is literally, he says, don't go to college. I'm going to give you a shitload of money, and you're an indentured servant.
Yeah,
that's literally
and they took
what they are.
Hook, line, and sinker.
And straight up, they're fucking everywhere in tech. Everywhere you look, they're Thiel fellows. It's not even fucking funny. It's
what
not
Ossiana
even
said?
Funny.
What Ossiana said, I think, really resonated with me, the brain chemistry thing. And that's absolutely so true. I know it's like, because you can, and that's why it's so important to talk right now. Because I was talking with Marlon Weems about, he grew up during the era of segregation, and he's just like, well, that's just the way it was. And that's what these corrupt people kind of count on. They repeal all these laws and stuff. They repeal all these protections. I'm not going to forget what things were like, at various times in my life, because I'm old. But my kids, it's like, this is the reality that's presented to them. They want to construct that brain chemistry. But it's like that conservative mindset just cracks at some point, because people either rebel or they become like totally evil. Like, it's unsustainable. And we've seen that over and over again in history. I don't know, though. What are your thoughts more on that idea? Like, just getting out of that mind, because it is so easy to just kind of convince yourself. You're kind of you're impressed by them, and you're kind of under their wing, and you have to break away.
Think about how many times we've had historic events that were completely and utterly accidental, that just changed the way that everybody spoke about something. There was one waistcoat factory fire that started off labor protections and was actually a thing. There was the Radium Girls incident.
Oh, God.
There was Bhopal. All of these had such a massive experience for the human psyche. And the thing is that no matter how well anybody tries to prepare for the unexplained, like me, I honestly thought, if you would have told me 5 years ago, as I was moving into my luxury apartment in Englewood, that my business would have collapsed overnight, I would have started laughing in your face.
Yeah.
Well, it collapsed, and you know what? When we make plans, God laughs.
Yeah.
And that's what these people in Wall Street don't understand. They can sit there, they can rule with an iron fist, but at the end of the day, that's not what the human experience has ever been about. It's never going to be what it's about.
I think, these immoral systems are going to crumble. And like the United States for too long, it's been under this mindset of profit just justifies itself. Anything in the name of profit is okay. But now what we're seeing is rural hospitals being closed down, because it's just not profitable to attend to people, far out. You get a small number of people to come and visit. So it just means people die. And especially when it comes to healthcare, we can't be making these decisions, because if we're sacrificing human beings in the name of profit, that system is going to collapse. And I think this is maybe, Americans just fundamentally have to make this change. And I keep looking back at it, when the Constitution was written, that was a step forward. But since then, we've reached the glass ceiling that the Constitution had. We didn't see it for years and years because it was better than every other place. But there's other places that have surpassed the United States now, and they understand we have to invest in our people. And we can't look at accumulating massive hordes of wealth as the end all be all of human existence. But that brain chemistry thing is because we really do have to flip that switch, and we have to convince ourselves and understand. Because I think, at this point, would I take $1 billion if offered? We have to get to that point where you really don't. And honestly, I can't say that I wouldn't if somebody's like, here's $1 billion. And we have to, as a society and as a race, understand that hoarding of wealth will destroy you. It's the Lord of the Rings. That's the one ring that will corrupt you.
Nick calls them dragons, and I love it.
Yes,
I love it.
Towards the wealth,
what always happened to the dragons? They would come to the horde and they'd kill the dragon, right?
Well,
because they
they're
all wanted the money. They had
abusers, and they're all 60 years old. All these assholes who make their private islands, because at this point, because you don't just start that way. It's not like day one you're like that. They evolve into that, or devolve into that, because they become so bored and corrupt, and they're seeing all these things that they've been promised are not fulfilling them, and it takes them all those years. And it's like Ossiana said, these old decrepit guys with their young model girlfriends, they create entire systems of exploitation just to fulfill this hole in them. And it's that's what we never talk about. I think it's kind of it's a hard topic.
It is a hard topic, and the funny thing is that
there you go.
The dragon thing is a legit issue, because we tend to not really think about the hoarding of wealth, and it definitely became toxic. But there's also another faction to it that people don't really talk about. Let's just be honest. For a while, it really seemed like the GOP was completely united, that they all supported each other, right? Then the cracks started to show that they actually really couldn't stand the sight of each other. They don't even like each other. And here's the thing, I might be old-fashioned and I might be a little bit weird about it, but I genuinely do believe that you need to like people in order to remain a team with them long-term.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
When you go through things for extremely selfish interests, people notice and people react. And the thing is that this entire movement is selfish. So of course it's going to end up being self-effacing.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting, because when you think about it, we say, okay, Trumpers are in a cult. What if you expand that and say America's in a cult of capitalism?
I think so.
They've created a capitalist cult.
Yeah.
Because everyone fucking believes that capitalism works because it's a cult. We all got put in a cult. And then when you wake up and you say, no, we should take care of each other, the cult lashes out at you.
Yeah.
That's what fucking happens, because it's a cult. They have created a capitalist cult in which they tell you that capitalism works.
Yeah.
And you believe it.
There you fucking go. You nailed it. It's that simple. It's really that simple.
When you work on Wall Street, it gets 10 times scarier.
Because they are no longer in the cult. They are in the leadership of the cult. And maybe that's what happens. Maybe that's when these people become fucking sick, is when they get welcomed into the party, if you will, if you want to go Orwellian on it. They are welcomed into the party. You get to be part of the party now because you are worth $300 million and you can become part of the grift. Yeah. That I think is I think that's, we're trying to figure out why these people are fucking sick.
So I can tell you why I can tell you why they're sick. And what was the guy's name from The Great Short?
Oh, The Big Short. Yeah, I can't think of his name, but go on with the story. Yeah.
So one of the things, The Big Short. Okay, so this was about Adam. This was about whatchamacallit, Mark Baum and Michael Burry, who they find a major crisis about to happen in the stock market around 2008 or something like that. The Lehman Brothers thing. My boss wouldn't shut up about this movie, and a bunch of other people who predicted great shorts in the stock market. And he was like, "These are the people who you should look up to." And usually it was like Warren Buffett, the other dude. I'm sorry, my brain's kind of silly putting right now, but I remember him just like pacing through the desks and be like, "Have you ever watched this movie? You need to get some Wall Street heroes. You need to understand what heroism looks like."
God.
And the funny thing is that, like, you talk to me, I don't sound like that now.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was starting to be there, I started to talk like them. I started to talk about all the processes that I created for the company. Like, it was a major heroic thing. And I actually got laid off from the company. But the funny thing is that, like, before I got laid off, my drug dealer, my husband, and like half of my friends held an intervention for me. And it wasn't even for drugs. It was because of the way that I was turning out in that company. They were like, "You don't sound like yourself anymore.
Yeah.
You're starting to sound very corporate, and it's kind of scary." And like, my husband was like, I married you because you have this like deep soul. You have this like love of art.
Yeah.
And you've started to sound like them, and it's terrifying. And the funny thing is that I've gotten into contact with a bunch of people who used to work with me from that time. We all apologized to each other because they pitted us against each other. We all wanted to be that next Big Short, that next unlocking the key to virality. And it's so funny because they all sound different now. It's literally like cult deprogramming. It's the scariest fucking environment. I've learned so much about myself, about the way the world works from there, but I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Like, I've seen places like that break people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did an interview with a guy named Paul Vigna. He wrote a book called The Almightier, and he was just talking about the history of just like worshiping money. It's a really kind of interesting book. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of the system I grew up. I mean, and it's all related, that like patriarchal model.
That's part of the cult.
Yep, and you're brought along by it, by this promise of a reward. It's not coming. That reward's not coming. You're making all these sacrifices. You're sacrificing your basic humanity in pursuit of this reward that's never going to come. And hopefully you'll get to a point where you kind of wake up but then you get into that slippery slope fallacy where you're like, well, I've contributed so much, or the gambler's fallacy. I've contributed so much to this already. I can't go back, and that's, I think, what we have with so many people in our society. They're unwilling to leave the mega cult because they've invested so much into it already. At this point, I don't want to start over from zero. I'm 70 years old. I can't go back. It's like, you have to stop, because that is the path to nowhere that you're on. And just getting people to understand that. And it would be helpful because so much of American society indoctrinates people to accept this. And it rejects the other side. That's why you never see Zoran Mamdani and all these podcasts and shows, all these redeemed Republicans. They never use their platform to promote Mamdani, right? Because even though they claim to be reformed, they still don't want to embrace the progressive ideology, which is the deliberate opposition of evil, rather than this deal with the devil mentality that America's had since its inception.
Yeah, well, think about it too, like this. Like, I always say, like, I've said this forever, they're not hungry yet. They're not hungry yet.
Yeah,
they're still not hungry. When they get hungry,
they're spiritually hungry. They're not physically hungry.
Spiritually hungry, but their fucking bellies aren't rumbling. When they're hungry, they'll change. Nothing short of fucking hunger will wake those people up, that 30%. And so I finally fucking found that thing after 30 fucking minutes, 20 minutes and unfortunately, I believe they are associated with the PPP loans. It's the CDFI.
Okay.
So they
man.
shut it down in October, and they laid off everyone. And then in November, it just got reinstated temporarily until January. But at the moment, they're not issuing new PPP loans because of the nature of the program. Ironically, all of the money is allocated by Congress, and they can't fucking do that, but that hasn't stopped them before. So it is the CDFI. They are all of the, banks that they're like, funded by the federal government and subsidies and whatnot through them. So, but the other interesting point, why the fuck would they do that? Well, they don't want you to get money to make money so you could potentially enter or challenge the cult. That's like, why are they attacking the programs that provide opportunities to people who might not have them otherwise? Because they're insulating themselves. Because that's exactly what they're doing. And I mean, it's interesting as we sit here and we talk and we take, this aspect of one part and then put it together with the other part. Well, it is like we're human beings. And the other thing is, if you are, and I'm going to say a word and it might upset people, if you're fucking dumb and a smart person starts to talk to you, and
they're willfully ignorant. Use the word willfully ignorant, because it's not a cognitive thing. It's a choice. They're making a choice. And
I don't know, man. I've met some really, really stupid Republicans.
I don't know, man. I think there's willfully ignorant people, but I really think there's dumb people. But it's not their fault, because they've been deprived of the opportunity to get the knowledge.
I'm sorry, man. Like the only person I've ever known who's eaten crayons multiple times, I mean quite literally eaten fucking crayons, was a person who voted GOP straight ticket. I don't think that is a coincidence, okay? He horsed it up, and then guess what happened next week? Same damn thing.
Maybe, and if that's so if they're, and then you have someone come to you and they say, look, I appreciate your opinion, but I would like to show you a set of financial records that directly implicates what who you're supporting in a pedophile ring. I don't fucking believe you're woke shit, bro. What the fuck?
I mean, it could also just.
I'm not like this is not me being a lib or woke. I'm trying to show you things. Well, I don't believe it. Because they don't know what you're fucking talking about. So they lash out at you because they don't want to feel stupid. So instead, they invalidate everything you're saying and then they cluster together and insulate themselves from people who could potentially talk to them. But the interesting part here is I was watching someone called Your Weirdo Friend, and she's so interesting, and she was talking about a lot of things, but this idea of the fact that if you want to sway somebody, it has to be with emotions. You cannot and will not reach people unless you could show them the ledger, pure corruption. And if you just show it with zero emotion, zero context, it won't matter. Now, the important thing in delivering truth is outrage. If you want to change people's opinion, you need to make them mad. If you don't, they won't fucking care. And that's where, in my messaging, I'm fucking angry all the time. But I also pair it with real facts. I pair it with real facts because I'm not going to get anywhere. And that's the misconception with, you hear this in media. Well, you need to keep your fucking feelings out of it, bro, and stick to the facts. That's where the Democrats fucking fail, because they're trying to be, hey, we need to stick with the facts. We need to not bring our emotions into this and implicate anyone. No, the money says he's a rapist and he's trafficking children. And $30,000 in 80 fucking bank accounts. He's fucking doing it. You can see it. Be upset.
Yeah.
Be upset. Be upset, people. Be upset. But
We're not mad enough.
we need to stick to the facts. We need to.
So
It's not going to get anywhere. But if you get them pissed, if you're like, hey, they're fucking you over, bro. They're closing the banks that will give you a business loan because they want you to be poor. All right. Instead of, I'm just saying, brother, like, the facts are pretty obvious here. They don't want facts. They want feelings. It's why they're in MAGA, because they don't understand facts. They do feel feelings. And that is how you have to deliver the information with emotion. Okay, I'm done.
Let Ossiana go.
You also have to remember that a lot of this is just brute fear. These are people who do not like things that they can't control or that they can't predict. And this is for conservatives across the board. This is for the rich ones. This is for the poor ones. One of the reasons that conservatives don't like anything that doesn't look like them is because we are harder to predict. We are harder to control because they also can't figure us out. It's the same reason that a lot of those conservative men, did you ever notice how they talk about women?
Yeah.
Like they talk about women, they'll relate women to toasters, bubblegum, turtles. Oh yeah.
Dude, I don't want to, I'm not here for violence, but like I would punch someone if they said a woman is like a toaster. Like, what is wrong with you? What the fuck?
Well, here's the thing. They do that, and a lot of the times, like, they'll do it, like, saying things like, oh, look, the turtle can't exist without its hard exterior shell protecting it. Women, take note. This is you and the kitchen. Stuff like that. Now, let me explain something about this to you guys. A lot of that stuff seems to be done in benevolence, but it's actually done out of fear.
Yes, yes.
And the thing is that 90% of the conservative platform is fear. Think about like that recent gaffe from the New York Times where they put a propaganda piece about is feminism ruining women, or are women ruining the workplace? What do we honestly think that was? That was just fear bait. And people like conservatives, they eat it up.
Yeah.
They don't realize that what they're doing is they're eating it up. And everything that they're doing is actually empowering the very things that they are afraid will happen to them.
Mm-hmm.
That's really important. I had a cousin like that, and he was like, all the time, his like, and then you get this with conservatives too. They just talk about how they can beat anybody up. I can whip anybody in this room, on and on and on. And this was a guy I was talking to, and I'm like, oh, I just got back from Peru, and it's like, you should come. I'm like, it's really cool. And he's just like, do I have to get on an airplane? And he was just in no way am I getting on an airplane, like this is like. I'm sitting there like, I mean, you're supposed to be this tough guy and you're afraid to get on an airplane, but like hiding that fear. And really, ultimately, that's why they stay in their little farm life. They're afraid to go to the big city and get a degree. They're afraid they're going to fail when they get into these classes and they learn, and they're afraid to read because they'll read something they don't understand. But fear, it just drives the whole conservative cult. Let's just make things like it was 100 years ago. It's like 100 years ago, things sucked. Buddy, that was bad. People dying because of a lack of vaccines and things like that. Like, you're plowing your fields with a horse. You want to go back to that because you can understand it? It's like, buddy, you don't know what you're asking for. But yeah, you're right. That fear aspect of it. But then they get by with bluster. And the way they disguise their fear, I think, is the thing that we have to, if we peel it back and show how they're cowardly in everything they do, we start being able to change hearts. It's not hard to make the president look terrified.
You know what that makes me think of is like, they're like, oh, things were better, back then. I'm like, there was more jobs. It's like, what? You want to be the guy who's like, bring out your dad. Bring out your dad. Bring him out. Bring him out.
I feel happy.
Bring out your dad. It's like, yeah, that's more jobs, but like the fucking plague, like if they had vaccines, a quarter of Europe wouldn't have fucking died, but those were better times. Women knew their place. You fucking idiot.
Man,
it's just, that's literally what it makes me think of. That's how like dumb these people are. And, just to give you an example, I think, because there's counter, but like, this is like my personal, like the lens is like, my partner, she has autism. And so she's a fucking beast in her field. Okay. Like she's not even 30 and she's sitting in a director position at an agency, like she's just kicking ass. And you know what her superpower is that her autism has allowed her to just fucking miss the patriarchy. It just flies over her fucking head. So she just like fucking steamrolls these men because it doesn't work on her. They can't manipulate her. They don't, she doesn't fucking care. She just doesn't care. And so she's like, oh, this bitch fucking slaps him down, fucking like, you know, hits him with the technicalities because she's talented. And they have no choice but to back down because she's right and because she's talented. And she's also, though, sometimes they go to the ultimate extreme. And we actually, during, you know, COVID, she got fired by the misogynist fucking leaders of this company because she was going too far. She was so the CEO, a fucking owner, fired her. Like, she goes in one Friday, you know, everything's fine. Done. Why? Because she was in a position to get promoted to be sitting in the room where it happens. So she had to go. Now she found a place where the leaders don't care. But like, you still run into that in every other aspect of business. But it doesn't work. But most women, unfortunately, have to face that and feel it attacking them and pushing back on them. And it's exhausting. It's got to be exhausting to have to defend every decision and then watch a man make the same recommendation and have it welcomed with open arms. Like,
it's nightmarish.
I would lose my goddamn mind. Like, I would go crazy. And it's like, that's where I know my fucking privilege, because I don't have to argue
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Sneezings.
You got to offer some opinions on that, Ossiana, if you're
super
okay.
proud of her, and two, you know, I think it's a good example of like how women can, you know, steamroll through that, but it's harder if you have to, you know, experience it in a certain in full.
No, like, there's definitely a level of crazy making, and I've noticed that the smarter a woman is, the worse it gets, and the prettier a woman is, the worse it gets. Because if a pretty woman is accused of hitting on a guy, everyone believes her. No, not everyone believes her. Everyone believes the guy. And you're saying there, you're like, I'm actually repulsed by this guy. No, you're not. I'm like, did I say anything? What did I do? And that's just kind of the patriarchy thing. And that's also partly because without women and minorities supporting the system, like the underclass and the women, believe it or not, it supports the system that we have right now. If we all just banded together and said, no, you know what, fuck this, we're not doing this, bye. The entire system would fall like a house of cards.
Like, what if women went on strike? Like, just universally, you know? Like, I go on strike with the women. You know, they fired me when I went on strike. So like, now I do this, but you know, it's like, I think if, I don't know, like, I think that also women have fucking way more spine than dudes. Like, way fucking more spine, because dudes you're not fucking oppressed. You're not actively oppressed all the time. So they're a bunch of bitches. They're a bunch of bitches because they can't fucking hang with any, like, they are emotional. Well, why are you being fucking mean to me?
Yeah.
Man, you never have to put up with shit. You're a little baby. Go back to fucking preschool and sit with the fucking kids, and maybe you'll learn something. That's a circle. That's a triangle. Like, fuck. Anyway.
You know, no, but that, like, white male fragility is something that's pretty much the essence of the MAGA movement. It's just being a fragile, terrified little man child is everything. And the president is the most obvious example of that. It always is depressing, though, that like young people are growing up thinking that is an acceptable way to behave. And just then that whole system that put that tortoise on the post, like we've been saying, like, that's in any way acceptable. And we aren't mad enough. We aren't mad enough about what happened in the last election. I mean, this is verifiably, you know, it's pretty obvious. And when we look at the actual data, like, he's allegedly, if he's done even half the things he's alleged to have done, he's maybe the most repugnant human being who ever lived. I mean, just a vile, and people voluntarily voted for that piece of shit. And it's just like all these mechanisms that put him in that place, that normalized him, all that's got to come down. The mainstream media, our whole political network, the whole patriarchal system, all that stuff, it's got to go. And, we just can't quit. It's like, it doesn't end. Like we said, he's the puppet. All that stuff's got to go down. It doesn't end with him. Tearing down all those structures of fear and manipulation that seem to corrupt men. And exactly as you said, they corrupt men because at least with men, there's like a promise of like, you're going to be a billionaire. Women, what do they have to hope for in these patriarchal models? You're going to be like
the pretty bird in the golden age. That's all that they can be. Like a lot of those women, like if you actually talk to some of those right-wing women, the ones that you see like being talking heads, they don't believe a damn word they say. They're doing that because they want to get money and they want to line their pockets, and maybe they'll end up with a rich guy. But the truth of the matter is that they're actually just hurting themselves. It's like whenever I watch Pearl Davis or someone like that, like clips of her online, I sit there and I'm just like, girl, this is literally like, this is basically self-injury online. Like, and I see somebody who's like, I'm not all there and I'm going through my own struggles, but girl, you don't understand the kind of devastation you're doing to yourself.
Yeah. What happens to these, like we've seen what happens with the men when they get billions of dollars and they make their little pedophile islands. What happens to women when they don't seem, I've always argued, just women are just not they don't have the same inclination to just pure evil that men do. It's just verifiable. But how does it come out?
From what I've seen, a lot of philanthropy.
They actually are giving
like
people.
Bill Gates' ex-wife, she ended up becoming a famous philanthropy, gave away I think at least 1 or 2 billion already.
Yeah, that's so fascinating.
Then there is Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, who pretty much just dedicated her entire life to philanthropy.
Yeah.
Then there was Taylor Swift, she hasn't really done anything, so I don't know what to do with that.
Well, I remember I've seen some things where she's helped people.
Swift. She's more and more things about Taylor Swift that are interesting, to say the least. I don't think women are immune to the cult, if you will. You can get a taste of it.
But they don't seem to create dungeons and hoard human beings to torture them like men do.
I don't think that they do that. I think most of them have experience being hoarded.
Yeah, they probably they get enough trauma from when they're growing up, so they're just like, we're not crossing that line ever.
The ratio of billionaires, male to female, is 7-1. So that should also tell you something about the cult.
Yeah, it's a sickness.
And I bet you if I look at, let me just see, I'm gonna also look at centimillionaires.
Ask the world, the internet. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, okay. Let's see. Let me see here. 15% as well. So 85 to 15%. So it's not even.
It's not even a thing.
It's not even, like they're not part of it. And they tend to do more philanthropy. So I've seen people in the chat are saying she has given lots of money.
Yeah,
so I believe she has. The things I've heard about Taylor Swift don't necessarily have to do with the philanthropy, but about, her not being a great person.
I've heard that she does give to food banks and things. So give her.
So she does. Who's epic is Billie Eilish. She's fucking cool. I really like Billie Eilish. She was also fucking objectified to shit, and it was sick how people treated her as a minor. And she's just been fucked. She's like, I don't give a fuck. Fuck you.
Yeah.
And she's definitely and then she had that, viral clip where she's like, if you're a billionaire, why are you a billionaire?
Yeah. Good.
That's huge. And Hollywood's been silent. I don't know. Ossiana, you probably know, since you're what's your take on Hollywood and that community and why they haven't really said shit this whole time, and all of that? I'm very curious because I'm completely ignorant.
There is so much corruption in Hollywood. It's not even funny. If you think politics is bad, wait until you see Hollywood. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of very good people in Hollywood, but there's also a lot of very bad people, and the very bad people tend to be the ones with the most power. Like if you actually look at it, like when was the last time you heard about Brendan Fraser?
Yeah, it's been a year or so, but yeah, he had a lot of things that he was saying had happened to him.
He came out and he said a lot of things about a lot of people. And isn't it weird that he just got canceled so silently? He can't seem to find work outside of, like, inside the US anymore. His last movie was taking place in Asia.
Can you update me on, like, because I don't know anything about this. So could you give me like a really brief summary about like this
right.
Brendan Fraser, like what he did and what he said?
All right, let me search it up. So
well, he had accused some bigwigs of sexual assault, I think, right? So he was.
Yeah, I think it was like a sex assault. Or like okay, so he accused Philip Burke, a member of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, of sexual assault.
Yeah. Don't they like I heard something about like all the Disney kids were like fucking raped. Like all like it was part of like the whole Disney kid culture. Like you like the and they all like ended like a bunch of them killed themselves and like they're all hooked on drugs now because they have hella trauma. Like like I don't know. I've heard.
Look at Bieber.
About that.
Look at Bieber. His parents literally were like, okay, Diddy wants to go hang out with him. Oh yeah, he's what, 35 right now? And Bieber's 16. Okay, go Justin. Have a good time. Bye. Like,
Corey Feldman had a lot of accusations too about the stuff that he had to go through, and it's just like these cults, like these people with money, and it ties into what you were saying before, the models, the supermodel. It seems a lot of these like just appearance industry is just designed for these rich people to have slaves, basically, and just things that they can covet and shiny objects. It's sad and sickening. But then when people do speak out, then they're instantly shunned because again, our media is just completely corrupt, and there's never any accountability for these people that are accused of these horrible actions.
And Trump recently removed the whistleblower protections too. And it's interesting because every single time that there's been a whistleblower, we've paid really, really heavy tolls, heavy penalties for it. That's by design. That's not a bug. That's a feature. Think about what happened when Ivana was supposed to have a deposition against Trump. She had to fall down the stairs and then she was buried like a dog on a golf course.
Yeah. Or, the alleged suicide of Epstein and all those kind of things. That stuff gets cleared up.
He didn't kill himself. And I've talked with Ellie about this and I really respect your position in terms of like, I don't know one way or the other. Like, I get that. But there's, the thing I think about Epstein all the time is that Epstein was a master blackmailer.
Yeah.
He had literally dirt on everyone. And the second everyone realized, and I think it reached a point where Epstein just was like, there was no one around Epstein could get out from under his thumb. So when the opportunity presented itself to remove Epstein so everyone could be free, they fucking did. Because it's like not like there was going to have, they're not going to have another opportunity. Like they had to, because if Epstein was thinking about, flipping, he was considering getting out because he knew he had the leverage to walk away and bring everyone else down, because they would have let Epstein go if he flipped on everybody. He would have gotten the deal. They would have said, you know what, Jeff, you're a fucking piece of shit, but we'll give you immunity if you give us everything. And they would have 100%. So they had to kill him. And that's my take.
And think about Marjorie Taylor Greene, because like she genuinely did believe all that like Democrat pedo stuff. I do believe that she genuinely believed it. As soon as she flipped on Trump and Trump flipped on her because she was like demanding the release and she started calling Trump out on a lot of stuff, she started to fear for her life. It was the right wing, not the left wing that she was afraid of. She never feared for her life before then. Now she's calling police security. Now she has to hire security. That's interesting.
Yeah.
She called for the death of fucking Democrats before, and now she's upset. You know, that's the other thing. And like people get so upset, and I will never get off this fucking hill because I think Adam Kinzinger is a piece of shit. Okay. I think he's an opportunist just like MTG. And I think he went through all of the things and well, she just saw which way the wind was blowing. So did he.
Yeah.
So did he. He saw an opportunity to like, because what if you, he's like, I voted for 93% of this shit, but I saw that it was wrong. So what? You voted for Marjorie Taylor Greene voted for knife. Whoop-de-fucking do, buddy. Like, they don't pass legislation in this regime. Like, Congress does nothing. So you want to total it up. You're like, you also enabled everything. You enabled everything that happened to allow this. And yet people hail you as some fucking hero. And you have the audacity to criticize Marjorie Taylor Greene, say, don't buy it. I don't buy you, motherfucker. I think if the winds blew the other way, you would flip right back over. Because it's about preservation.
And he's not. The underlying issue is this corrupting power of money is really what it is. And like that book, The Almighty by Paul Vigna, goes back to the Bible, and the Bible starts like, don't like the poor will inherit the world. You know, it's pretty clear in the Bible what side Jesus is on, and it's not on the side of rich people. And then somehow over all these years, they've inverted it where we worship with rich people, like the prosperity gospel, where churches actually preach that people are poor because of their character and their sin. I mean, it's fucking backwards. And so really, that's the danger here. When we want to sacrifice these corrupt leaders, like the guy in the Oval Office, okay, he's got to go. You're missing the issue. The disease is this corrupting power of money. All these people that have these resources that turn them into just vile, wretched things. They turn into Smeagol. You know, they're Gollum. And it's like we have to, and all of us have to work up our courage and start saying, yes, we need universal health care. We have to demand governments that work for us. We have to be strong on that message. And even now, that is pretty fringe. That's pretty fringe. We got the I hate our regime, but it's still fringe to say, let's not have billionaires, you know? And that's what we have to work towards.
That's true. Yeah.
It's like Midas Touch paid him a shitload of money that people donated to them for them to fight for democracy. But instead they make a fucking documentary making this man out to be a fucking hero. You think they didn't cut him a beautiful check?
Yeah.
A big, beautiful check. And it was great. He said,
I wish he'd bring on Mamdani. And
I'm going to do it. Can you believe it? He said, I'm Adam Kinzinger. I'm gonna turn on him. And he said, well, he's a loser. He's a bummer. He's a loser. But guess what? He still makes money. Like me, I make a lot of money.
Oh, the grifters. Arturo goes on that.
Like, dude, you don't change. But dude, there you go. Fucking Midas too.
Yeah.
What is like the money corrupts? People keep saying they take money. They must be. When's the last time they talked about Gaza? When? Tell me. Tell me when the last time they suck and said shit about Gaza. Tell me the last time. They have never uttered Peter Thiel's name. If so, maybe once. Michael Popak, what did he do? He started his own law firm, and they advertise that shit like fucking crazy. You know what Popak does? Personal injuries. With the fucking grift of all time. No, start your own law firm and prosecute the government. Sue the government. Fuck you, Michael Popak. What the fuck? Like, I'm only a personal injury lawyer. You're a lawyer. You have a law degree. You fucking know. Get the fuck out of here. I'm so over these fucking people. You know,
let's talk a little bit more about that because that's actually kind of an interesting little notice that you've put about Midas Touch and everything like that. Because I actually do enjoy their work, but here's where I always found it very interesting. Did you notice how heavily advertised they are? Where are they getting that money?
Yeah.
Where are they getting that money?
Gordon Mycelis worked for HBO, and he worked for all of the other big companies that do all the digital advertising. So he knew exactly what to do to monetize the fuck out of what they were doing. He did that shit. He did it for all the people that are doing the propaganda now. That was his job. That was literally what he did. So that like I literally like it's not, you know, and Ben Meiselas, he won some like $71 million lawsuit against Pfizer. He doesn't need money. They could do all this shit for fucking free. They could do all of it for free. They're probably fucking loaded already.
So so that explains that. But I've also started to notice a couple of other weird things, like, because, you know, I do have those press ties. I get a lot of PR agencies. I do occasionally get death threats. I don't know if you guys do yet.
All the time. All the time.
And I find it very interesting that it's usually like, I've had everything from like people like actually show up at my work at one point to talk to me about things. I've had people send you know, literal death threats and stuff like that over like even like the most innocuous of articles. I had one where I was like, yeah, girls probably aren't gonna like you if you treat them like property, and that got me a death threat. I was like, okay, whatever this is, we already contacted the police. I believe he's in custody now. They didn't really actually update me. I should ask for an update. But it's interesting that these like powerhouses always seem to escape the big bullets, while it's usually the indie journalists who end up suffering.
They want us out. I mean, they want to control the narrative. And, you know, it's like people are saying that they did some good things here and there. And it's like, we always have to reserve the right to offer criticism. Criticism is always constructive. Let's have a debate. But they refuse to talk to people like us because and exactly what Shane was saying, they're already pre-funded. So they only have a presence here to make it so grassroots people like us with different voices, with new voices, don't get to be heard. And I keep trying to tell that to people. It's like, don't sponsor the millionaires. Don't sponsor the stuff that's already, you know, pushing out the other kind of creators. We need new voices. It's like these guys, they don't turn over a new leaf. They just get a new master. They get a new master and they're trying to maintain the same corrupt system that already made them rich, that already exploited the rest of us. We need a whole new set of voices. Everybody has to be discerning. And this is that brain chemistry thing we were saying, because we can laugh at MAGA for being in a cult, but there's like a subset of cult that is on the left that we're in because we want to keep going back to, you know, if it's in your head, let's just go back to Biden era democracy. Not good enough. That just was never good enough.
Culture.
Yeah, we have to switch. We need to do better. And we have the resources to do better. It's just a matter of like finding the fortitude to demand it. Shane's doing some investigating over there, looks like. Or he's seen something shocking.
He's having an existential crisis.
I want to see how much they're worth. Of course, they're fucking private.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's...
Well, like Marlon was saying, it's like, it's just kind of like, we're just kind of in that habit. You're like, oh, here's a brand I recognize. And they go and they sponsor that. It's like, go to the small coffee shop rather than Starbucks. You know, there's a corner thing owned by like a nice family. And that's the one place they own. Like anytime you go to like an independently owned business, you're going to be treated better. But we are so indoctrinated to have tunnel vision where we only see like the 1, 2, or 3 logos we recognize. And we've been groomed to think that's the only thing that's good. But look around. Nothing is working. Our lives suck. Our lives literally fucking suck. So change. Do things different deliberately.
A very wise person once told me that Americans will do the right thing only after all other options were exhausted.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I do have to go.
Go ahead, please.
I do have to go to the bathroom really bad, though. So please.
You're fine. You know, it's like one of those things where I'm constantly... you know, thinking and looking at this, and I'm like, when you look, and I want to do this, but I also never have fucking time to do anything I want to do anymore.
Yeah.
But I want to take all of their videos, and I want to take the headline they use and they frame as a failure, and actually juxtapose that to the actual outcome. And what I think, you know, the likely outcome would be is that they're fucking they are misleading in terms of the actual reality. I think what they sell is a form of cognitive dissonance that you can subscribe to, which is that Trump is constantly failing. There is never any success. You know, it's probably that's probably what I think is what happens. Just a couple numbers here. So 5.5. Let's see. Rogan flip. Let's see. Newsletters. Entity valued above. Might have touched pack.
Somebody always mentions
They've got
mediocre.
a fucking pack.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And it's just like the full court press you get. Like, I mean, the Mamdani thing just showed so much because there's the successful model. That's the message. And we got all these establishment places that just do not accept that what Mamdani did. And that's a grassroots campaign. It's not beholden to anybody. And so many of our politicians are already bought and paid for. They get millions. It's actually kind of astonishing. It doesn't cost. I mean, it's like $10,000-$20,000 to get yourself like started for a congressional campaign. It's not that much money, but everybody, I mean, in the bigger sense of the term, but like everybody's so up against the wall. Like the majority of the people are so desperate. The exact people that we need to be in office, we need waitresses and we need, people that have had, mechanics, like just real teachers and stuff, real people like that. We have this completely narrow, bought and paid for group of people that's allowed to be our pool for politicians. And they're so controlled. And just all these things about our system need to be changed. But it starts with that because people get worried when you're like we're saying, we're being critical of certain left-leaning publications. We have to be critical of them. They started getting on us with the big tent nonsense. Well, you're part of the problem when you're attacking these guys that are trying to do good. It's like, they're not really, though. We need to have these constructive talks where we change fundamentally at a deeper level instead of just like peeling off layers of corruption off the onion and still being, struck with something that's rotten.
Yeah. It's
true representation of the population. That's exactly what we need. Not like 80-year-old millionaires are the only people that get to determine the future of the country.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, let's see. I'm looking. It's like on the low end, they're worth 125 million. On the high end, 125 million.
Who's this? Who's the they?
Midas.
No, come on.
Based on that's just their LLC though.
Yeah,
like 65 million.
But
if
no,
you
but
go the low end.
Over the last year, it's been about a year, maybe less, 6 months or so. You've seen that when we were really growing. I was really growing fast here on Substack.
Yeah.
And I think they're just like, oh shit, this is like somebody who's like attacking the real problems in our society. And then there's an influx of all these media personalities. Oh no, sponsor us. And that just dries up all the money, takes oxygen out of our lungs.
It's not even drying up all the money because, in a typical, thing, we'll still see like some kind of growth. For most of us, it's actually been either like shrinking by us just publishing how we used to, or we have to go online and be on camera, which admittedly I'm actually kind of camera shy despite everything.
Yeah,
you're doing
because I have a tendency of saying things.
Thriving. Huh? You're thriving.
Well, yeah, but now I'm actually starting to see my numbers going up again. But when it came to actually just writing stuff, it was interesting because written things tend to be much more SEO friendly and much more searchable than, say, videos. And it's interesting that the videos are now the things that are driving traffic and followers. Now, why is it that all of a sudden all the stuff that I would be writing would get us unsubscribes, or all the things that, we would be publishing would have such a hard time getting the same number of followers? What's going on with that? That's because they don't want people to actually read what we have to say.
Yeah. That's I think you're right. I mean, I think that the other thing is Substack wants to they want to challenge, they want to be a Twitch. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what they want. That's where they want to go. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think that, the opportunity here is that if we play into that, which I try and do, with my show every day with consistency, and the idea of regularly scheduling to provide a you want to be the alternative to Netflix, I guess. Like that's kind of what I think the goal needs to be for us as small creators is don't binge watch Netflix. Come hang out with us. Do that instead. Don't watch TV this morning. Instead, come watch the Rant. That's that's the goal. And that's with the whole regularly scheduled programming thing. But I think you can play both though, because like you said, it's more SEO friendly. That's why I have super aggressive show notes because you're kind of putting both together. You have the written and the video, but it's about understanding where they want to go. And it's like annoying because like, honestly, I would rather write more personally. I would rather write more. And I have a lot less time to do that, but I know that I was not growing as fast and reaching as many people when I was just writing. So now I get maybe one essay, one, deep investigation a week, maybe every week and a half, because I have to do the video. And I love doing the video. I love seeing people all the time. But it's, you do have to sacrifice that. And, like you said, Ossiana, like that, I wish that was more supported on the platform.
I want to say too, we just have to remember that like evil people have accumulated huge piles of money, and it feels like what this administration is doing is it's like pre-funding white supremacy for the next 100 years. I mean, they're absolutely. Like, they're like incurring all this debt and like shoveling money to corrupt people so that all the assholes who go like Turning Point USA, they have money to go and corrupt young minds at universities and say bullshit because all these hate speakers, they just have limitless access to funds, and the rest of us are just sitting like Yoda out in the swamp, like, with nobody listening to us because that's the way it goes. But I mean, I always like to thank you for Peter. Yeah.
That was way too good, dude. Are you Yoda?
Yoda.
I don't know if we can do that. We can't make
the Jedi fallen. They have, however, the younglings.
Yeah, the poor people.
Well, that's bringing the younglings. The GOP is.
Jeez, I mean, that was a mistake.
One of the things that we're gonna start. I think that like it's already starting to happen with the Firebrand project and the Rant. I'm starting to see like a slowly congealing like coalition of writers all doing the same damn thing.
And it changes your brain chemistry. Just talking to you guys does too, because we need positive areas, where we're just like, because if you just go in, like if you go to a typical room of 30 people and you're like, I think we should go to universal healthcare. Everybody who's been indoctrinated will just be like, no. But if you you need to have those moments where you're like in a space where people are like, it's actually a completely reasonable thing. Yeah. And, like get off the bar stool, all those people. And because I'm in Wisconsin, so we got more bars than grocery stores in Wisconsin. People don't understand how much. Yeah. Wisconsin is like by far the biggest binge drinking state. Like it is. Go look it up sometime. You'll laugh. It is. And I actually would. Yeah. I was, when I went to Oktoberfest back when I still drank, they're just like, oh, you're an American, you can't drink. And I'm like, I'm from Wisconsin. I put them all under the table and I'm like, let's go get some, like some screwdrivers now or some White Russians or something. And they were just like, no. They're like, pause. But it's like you get that toxic mentality where like people on a Wednesday, they go sit on a bar stool, like Wednesday at 9 a.m. and they watch Fox News and they're programmed that way. And that toxicity is in the United States and we have to combat that. And because that's got limitless funding and we got nothing.
And you have to get a water and you have to go on the dark side.
Gatorade, yeah. Every fifth margarita has to be made with Gatorade.
Gatorade sounds good right now. Yeah. Sorry, I have to stay hydrated because I'm currently getting off some seriously some serious physical crap. So
okay, all right, we made it. We made it to the hour and a half mark. I have to get ready for the paid subscriber Firebrand live stream that's coming up at 10 a.m. But
you're a machine. You're not human. You're like a piece of iron.
He's wild, dude.
I got another one after that, dude. I don't know. I have to write something today. So
bro, you're crazy. I'm gonna like go back to being half dead in bed.
Perfect.
I'll talk to you guys later.
Please rest extra for me because I honestly don't know how I do it sometimes. Like yesterday, I just like
I impress even myself.
I think my body just quit on me. I'm like,
oh yeah, that happens to me.
So, but everyone's so supportive. I love you guys because you're like, yeah, dude, take a break. I'm like, oh, so thank you guys all for coming to the Friday rant.
Hope we ranted enough.
Ossiana, thank you for filling in. It's always a pleasure to truly have you.
Yes,
you keep doing what you're doing. We're also proud of you for quitting. I know everyone in the chat here is supportive of what you're doing, and keep doing what you're doing. Ossiana. We are all so very proud of you.
Ossiana.
And if you in the chat, I want to hear you guys all confirm what I just said.
Yes.
And while we're waiting for that, Walter, let the people know where they can find you.
I'm over at I'd Rather Be Writing. So, and I'm lurking in the notes section.
He's always fighting the bots in the notes.
That's
It's
funny.
just battles every day, and I always win.
Some bot named Chuck, was like coming for me in my note, and I was like, "Chuck off," and I thought I was the funniest. I thought I was so funny.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I wonder if he did.
Ossiana, where can they find you? Where can they support you in your work?
It's ossiana.substack.com. That's my main one. I also have a spiritual one, which I'll do probably a little bit later this weekend, called House of Bast, HAVS of BAST. I forget if there's like dots, if there's something like that. I'm sorry, like my brain's completely spaghetti right now. I need to go back to napping, so I'll talk to you guys later.
Everybody here, they will all be tagged in the show description. You can go and find them. Become a free subscriber. If you can hack it, become a paid subscriber. We're all little fish trying to make our school big enough to be seen in the big pond. So, every little bit helps. And, I'm going to go simmer down because, I'm on fire like that mic behind me. So I need to relax a little bit before we chat. Come to the paid subscriber live stream. If you're a paid subscriber, it starts at 10. I want to see you. And thank you both for being here. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this morning for a little bit of crashing out and, laughing it off. And as always, bright you will.
See you all. Thank you.
See you all later.
Later.